Hiya folks, we're out in the garden again. This is October the 7th. We're getting very near to the last cut of the year, and my old lawnmower needs a bit of work done on it. I haven't touched this for years. In fact, probably since the day that I restored it on this channel many moons ago. If you go back, I don't know what the date was, it was probably 5 years ago maybe, and I haven't touched it. So it's playing up a little bit now. I'll just show you what it's doing. I probably will get a new one, but I just want to last out this season before I sort out a new lawnmower for next year. So as you can see, this was the one I done as a trotter lawnmower. This was actually painted. I didn't powder coat this one. This was painted, if I remember rightly. And as you can see, over the 5 year period, it's just left out all the time. It's gone to rack and ruin basically. But Briggs and Stratton classic engine, ultra reliable. I've never even checked the oil on it, I don't think. I've never changed the spark plug since the day it was restored. I've never winterised it. I've never taken the fuel out. I've never dried it out or nothing like that. But after about 5 years, it's now started to play up a little bit. I'll show you what it's doing. Let's start it up. As you can probably hear, it's hunting all over the place. Now that's going to be a carburetor issue, but I'm going to get through. It's been like this for the last 3 times I've used it, 3 or 4 times, but I've just continued and cut, but it's still cutting. That's why I say these little Briggs and Strattons, they go on and on. Listen to that. It's only a little push mower, but I will show it some love in this video, just by servicing the carburetor, checking the oil. We'll look at the oil because it would have been new when I put it in it many moons ago. So I'm just going to carry on, cut this grass, probably have one more cut before the end of the year, and then we'll show this lawnmower the love it deserves on its probably last outing. I say that, I'll probably end up using it next year as well, because there's no holes in the deck, although the deck's rotten. So I'm going to cut this and I'll see you in a minute. Oh well, it's just conked out. I'm hoping it's run out of petrol. I did fill it up the last time. Maybe it is out of juice. It's out of juice. I'm going to put some fuel in it, see what happens. Right, now normally one tank full normally does me at least 2 cuts, but I filled up the last time and it's only done 1 cut of the whole grass plus this bit which I've just done now. And I think that's because of the surging, where it's pulling more fuel through when it goes to cut out, and it's probably running way too rich, so it's probably using a lot more fuel than what it normally does. So for the sake of a change of a gasket in the carburetor, could save me a lot of money on blinking fuel. So let's just top that up. Now I'm not going to fill it right the way up because I'm going to take the carb off anyway. So right, okay, so we're back in action hopefully. As I say, normally Briggs and Stratton's classic engines are bulletproof. They really take some abuse. Right, let's see if that starts. I might have to prime it again. Yeah, the fuel line's empty. Right, let's try that. Come on. 2, 1 more. There we go. Still hunting, but that's to be expected. And as I say, I never winterise these at all. It's left out in the open through all the rain, snow, cold weather, hot weather, and I put E10 in mine. I don't bother. You'll hear people say, oh, you've got to put sort of a special fuel in and all that, or even E5 or whatever. It's a basic engine at the end of the day. It's an old-fashioned type engine, nothing complicated about it. It's a low state of tune it's in, so it'll run on basically anything, to be honest with you. And like all the other stuff, I actually don't winterise any of my chainsaws, my strimmers, and I've had them for years. They've got the same fuel in the carbs, E10, and they start up fine. Anyway, I'll carry on cutting this and then we'll have a look at this. I'll see you in a minute. Right, we managed to cut it. get it in the workshop. Well, this lawnmower hasn't been in here for a while, and nor have I. Woo. Still got bits of engine left here, look. That's the cylinder head for a Reliant Regal, which is waiting to be rebuilt now. Let's put that over the back there somewhere. Got all new valve seals on that. Right, I'll put that over there for the moment. New gaskets, everything there. All the engine parts there ready to be cleaned up and to go back on the engine. I'll put that back over there for the moment. Right, back on the workbench it is. Okay, let's get the air filter in the carb off and see what sort of state that's in. So, as I say, I've not had any of this apart for donkey's years now, and it's not been maintained, it's just been a workhorse. So let's see what state everything's in. Let's have a look at that. Well, it's dirty, it's not oily because I don't overfill my machines, so we can put a new air filter in. That wouldn't help as well with the running, but as you can see it's pretty good. That's about 5 years old, I would imagine, and there's no overfill oil all over there. You get a lot of these, as you know, covered in oil, but mine's probably at the correct level. I'll check that in a minute anyway. So that's that off. I always like to make sure that the governor arm and the springs are working as they should do, which they obviously are, because so many people, when they get that hunting up and down, they don't think of stripping the carb down on one of these and giving it a service and changing the diaphragm, which is what actually causes the problem. They start bending the springs about and stretching them and all that, trying to get it to run evenly and faster. But as you can see there, those springs and the governor things are actually working as they should do. So there's nothing wrong with them springs whatsoever. Although this little tab has been bent forward, probably by me, in an event to speed the tick over up. And that's the only thing that people do actually do. These don't really work all that well, these little levers here. And what you will find is like what I've probably done in this, is bend that lever down in the event to keep it running on fast speed all the time. That's normally up there, that lever, where you can move it backwards and forwards. But why would you ever want to change the speed of one of these by bending down and turning the lever? No reason for it whatsoever. So right, that's that. So we're going to get that 13mm and 10mm there, or if you're in America, that's a 1/2 inch socket, and that's a 3/8 socket. So let's get them undone. Right, so let's get that 1/2 inch off first of all. And there is a little spacer on there. We've done these many times, and there's many videos on how to take these carbs off. But this, as I said, is the most popular reason why your lawnmower is surging, your Briggs and Stratton classic engine one. There we go. Just loosen them 2 screws off, take them out, and you'll find the carburetor will just come forward and unhook that governor arm screw, and that's the carb out. That's the bit we got to service. Right, okay, so there's our carb. 2 things to notice there. We've got the rubber seal in there and the little white plastic insert in the back of the carb where it fixes onto the inlet manifold tube. That is still in situ, so that's good. Little gasket on there for the air filter sealing, that's still there. So I'm not going to empty the carb out, but I am going to give it a bit of a clean up, just to ensure we don't get none of that crap inside the carburetor. I'm just using a bit of WD here. Right, so just give it a little agitate there, just to loosen everything up. And I've just cleaned up this little rubber connector pipe from the crankcase vent, and as you can see there, it's actually split. So it could be sucking in more air via that as well. So that's another thing I've got to change. Again, all maintenance issues. So lucky enough, I've got spare one of these over here. I've got another carb over here, look. So I'll just nick that one off of there. Just make sure that one's not broken as well, which it isn't. So I can reuse that one. So that's one fault we found. So let's just take this outside now, just blow it off with some compressed air. And again, I just want this clean for when I'm working on it, you know. There we go. It's a lot better to work on when it's in that sort of condition. You ain't risk getting any crap in between the seat there when we separate the carb from the fuel tank. It's just good practice in my eyes. Right, now that's a lot cleaner. Let's clean down our tray. Just get rid of all that, because you don't want to introduce any crap And this goes for working with all carburetors or any delicate piece of engineering you're taking apart. Always make sure you've got a clean working area, especially engine components. You don't want grit and dust and dirt getting in. It's just a good practice. Keep it clean, baby. You only need a little grain of sand in an engine, or a few grains of sand, to ruin an engine. So just be careful. And don't forget the carb is sucking in stuff through into the inlet manifold. So keep it clean. And also wear your safety glasses when you're blowing compressed air. Right, let's get a Phillips screwdriver or JIS. And let's take these 5 carburetor screws out. And let's see what state the diaphragm's in. I'm hoping I've got a spare. I've normally got them in stock, but I've not been doing lawnmowers for a hell of a long time now. So Gary's been doing them every now and again, but hopefully there are some in stock. And I know I did have some cheap Chinese ones, which I think I threw out because they're absolutely useless. In the event of changing these diaphragms over for a new one, I've only found that the ones that are guaranteed are the Briggs and Stratton genuine ones. So that's a little lesson for you. If you're going to buy a diaphragm for these, don't be opted to buy 10 of the cheap ones when you can get 2 of the proper ones, because you'll be forever changing them. I've had them fail after 1 season. Right, okay. So let's just lift that carb off. There we go. All looks well. Now, can you see how saggy that diaphragm area is there? Let me just turn it over. Can you see how saggy this is? Look. Yeah? That's the reason for the surging, because it's gone saggy. So we need to change this diaphragm here. And also the gasket that comes underneath it. So let's start stripping this down. Move that to the back. Now we've got a little strainer on here. We can just take that off if you want. I've never seen one of them dirty, to be honest with you. And underneath there's the main jet. You can blow all that out if you want. But can you see that how baggy that's gone there as well? Look. Yeah? That shows that this one's had it, and that's why it's surging. So let's take these screws out of there. I will give this another wash down as well, but I'm just showing you that that's the issue there, right there. So the diaphragm and gasket comes off in one piece. Be careful, because underneath it, as we all know, those who have done these, you've got the little spring underneath there. And that is the offending article which causes all that surging. Can you see, even when I take it off, how bowed it is inside? Look at that dome, look. That's sagging, that's why it pulses, because it's gone too elastic. So I'm going to see if I've got another one of them. And the gasket is actually separate there, look. Yeah. You'll get a gasket and a diaphragm in a kit, and that's how it comes. Okay then folks, it's probably about a week later now. I had to order the gaskets in. I didn't have none in stock. Now, one thing I'm never too sure about when ordering gaskets, I've been on eBay and also exactly the same from Amazon. I always look for the genuine, which the writing says genuine gaskets. And normally, when you buy them from a reputable supplier, a garden equipment repair specialist, you normally get the diaphragms and gaskets in a sealed packet, and it's got Briggs and Stratton written on it. But I've just ordered genuine, it said genuine gaskets off of Amazon, and this is how they've actually come, in an envelope like that. Now, I'm not too sure that these are going to be the right thing. If they're not, I'm going to put them to the test, because you've got up to a period of days to claim back. I'm going to put these on the lawnmower, obviously, and check whether or not they are successful. Because if they are cheap Chinese copies and someone's advertising these as genuine ones, then obviously that's fraud at the end of the day. So just be careful when you're ordering these. Might be worth your while going to a place like Garden Hire Spares, for example, who specialise with garden repair equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how they come like that, look, in an envelope. So anyway, let's get the diaphragm and gasket fitted now, get the lawnmower up and running. Let's finish off to get this lawnmower on the road so I can give that lawn final cut this year. Right, so one thing I always tend to do is clean parts down while I'm working or servicing them, especially if it's something like a carburetor or something like this, which is a delicate piece of equipment. So I've got some brake cleaner here, or carb spray. Brake cleaner is probably exactly the same stuff. and give it a good clean down. There you go. And then plenty of blue towel. Can never have enough blue towel. And just wipe it all down, get it all clean first of all. It does take a little bit longer, but you're guaranteed that you're not going to get all messy, and also it just shows good work ethics that you clean stuff down while you work on them, especially on a delicate, as I say, a delicate piece of equipment like a carburetor. When you're doing car stuff and motorcycle stuff, it's imperative that you keep the equipment very, very clean, otherwise you're going to buy yourself a whole load of trouble. Pay particular attention to the pumping chamber there. As you can see, it's full of crap in there, so I tend to just put a bit of gear in there. I just get a small screwdriver and just agitate the dirt build up in there, and then what I'll do is I'll take it outside and blow it off with the compressor. Right, okay, there we go. That's the carb nice and clean now, as you can see. So we're going to put this back together now. Now, remember that there was a little spring on there. That seat's back on there. Ensure that your white plastic ring and your O-ring inside there is situated correctly. Put your strainer back on. Again, you don't necessarily have to take it off. I've never known these to be blocked up in all the ones I've done of these over the years. And you'll find a lot of people will pull this strainer out there. I've never known these in there to be blocked up either. So just to be aware that you don't necessarily need to pull these apart, because they can be a bit of a pig to seat back in. And I've known these, when people have taken them out and they've pushed them back in after servicing it, suddenly they've fallen out into the actual fuel tank and they don't pick up the fuel anymore, because that's not sealing as it should do, because that is a tight fit in there. So that's just something to be aware of. You don't necessarily need to take them apart. Right, so that's that. The tank's been clean, as we already know. So I'm going to take our new gasket and diaphragm out of the set we got here. Now you will see a vast difference in the old one there, as I said to you before, and the new one. How baggy that centre is there, where this one is virtually flat, look. So how we do that, we put the diaphragm on the fuel tank first, making sure to get it around the right way. The gasket there then will sit on top. There we go, like that. There's your carburetor. So that spring literally pushes down onto that there, and that acts as a pump. So we'll just lay that back in, making sure your spout goes through the hole there. Now normally these screws have got what you call a leading edge, which means the first part of the screw normally doesn't have a thread on it, but for some reason, I don't know whether someone's changed the screws on these, but these don't look to be original screws to me. But you just got to be a bit careful when you install them, bearing in mind, as I say, they haven't got a leading edge. So I'm just making sure that they're all seated. And that should be the carburetor cleaned and serviced. Bearing in mind it has got fuel in the tank already. I didn't take the fuel out, but you can see if I just press that, you'll see the fuel coming out. Look, when I press the primer bulb, there you go. That works a treat. So we'll just make our way back over to the main lawnmower. Just give it a bit of love. This hasn't been touched for years, literally. So I'm just going to get some of this around the engine, just loosen it up and get rid of it. You'll probably see there that I've actually plugged up the inlet manifold and also the breather hose with some tissue paper. I don't know crap going in there. There we go. And what I tend to do as well is just give the mechanism a bit of lubrication and a bit of a brush down as well. just to get rid of any unwanted crap there. There we go, that'll do. And then you can finish off with a blast of air if you've got a compressor. You may want to pay particular attention to inside here, behind this cover here, this plate there, because you do tend to get a build-up of leaves and crap, and if you ain't careful, that's what can cause overheating. So just have a little poke around in there. Mine's actually clean in there, I think. Right, we're going to remove our protective paper now. I'll just screw that bolt back in there just as a form of protection. And that screw there can come out of there. And we're just going to introduce our O-ring and sealer there over the tube. Sometimes you'll find this ring and O-ring are sitting on the tube, and some people don't realise that that's supposed to be clipped into there. So that's just another thing to become aware of. Make sure it's clipped into the carburetor. Right, so I'm just going to lift up the mechanism there. I'm going to hook it into that little hole there. Once it's in there, you can then just manoeuvre the tube into place by pushing it onto the that manifold tube. Make sure that your governor is moving freely, which it is. Replace the 13mm or 1/2 inch bolt in there, and also the 3/8 or 10mm screw that goes at the front of the fuel tank onto the bracket. There's the 3/8. Ain't got to go mad. And there's the 1/2 inch screw there. There we go. Like that. We've also got our replacement tube to go on the breather tube. We've got our washer or gasket to go back on the top of the carb. Just checking that freedom of movement again. So here's the old air filter, which probably could go again, but as I've got another one, I could clean that with some petrol, but I've got a new one. Here we go, which is a pattern one. There's no Briggs and Stratton branding on it, so that just goes in one way, a certain way. If you put it in the wrong way, as you can see there, look, it don't line up the hole, look. There you go. So you will put that in the right way. We've got the insert to go inside in this type, like that. The lid goes over the top, just like thus. That goes in like that, making sure to seat the hole on the gasket. Start tightening it up, just like that. And you may see that the cutout there fits nicely into the rest of the pull cord housing there. Some people have this round the other way and have the pointed end at the front, but that's how you know someone's been in there who don't really know what they're doing. Right, that's that. We're going to check the plug, see what sort of condition that's in. Now this is a B2LM in here. There we go. NGK. Now you probably see that it's a bit sooty and black in there. That's because it's been running rich with it pulsing and pumping too much fuel in. The other reason could be that the air filter would be dirty, but we know that was pretty much okay, but that would be the reason for that. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a clean now. An interesting fact which I found out was that NGK, I've always used NGK or Champion plugs, and NGK are probably the most copied counterfeited plug out on the market apparently. So just be aware where you source your plugs from. Again, reputable dealer, because there's a lot of people saying that they've had NGK plugs and they're breaking down after a very short period of time, after a few heat cycles. So it's just something to be aware of, that NGK plugs are probably the most counterfeited plugs. Right, okay, so I've just checked the gap on that. It's about 28 thou, which I think is all right. So I'm just going to screw that back in, nip it up, and over tighten them. Just check the cap for corrosion, because they can cause issues if it's got a bit of corrosion in there. Get some wire wool in there or whatever, just give it a bit of a clean out, because that can cause poor starting as well if you've got a bad connection between your HT lead. Give it a little bit of that in there as well, a bit of a happy birthday. And get that in there as well. There you go, look at that crap in there, look. There we go. Sure, a good connection. And coming over this side, I'm just going to check the oil level. The upper mark is there and the lower mark is down there. So on these engines we screw it in and then screw it out again. On Honda engines you tend to just leave the dipstick without screwing it in. Right, so we're on the lowest setting there. So it has burnt a bit of oil over the years. So I'm going to top that up. I've got some SAE 30 here, which I'm just going to drop in there. And again, very important, you don't overfill a lawnmower engine. Otherwise you could give it issues with smoking, burning oil, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, there we go. Just underneath the top level there. I'll be happy with that. Right, okay, now here's something we should all probably do, but we don't do it. Check your bottom of your deck and get some rid of this stuff. This is what causes it to rust out. You can see this has been standing for a while now and this is all dampness under here, look. Grass that's just stuck there, look. So just get rid of it. Pull it all off. Look at all this. Right, well that's the most of it off under there. Giving it a good scrape. There's still some bits there, but that's what I've got off of there, look at that. And one thing to remember, folks, is always when you're working underneath a lawnmower or lifting it up like this at all, ensure that your plug lead is removed so that it can't accidentally kick or start up, and take your hand off. Right, so we've got all this stuff around here, which is cable, old bits of plastic and cord and stuff. So I'm going to cut all this off and get this out of the way. Bits of string and all that, and then we'll take the blade off and just put another edge on that blade. Looking a bit blunt. Right, let's get the blade off. Unfortunately, my big impact driver's got a flat battery, so we're going to try this little one, see how this does. Yes, it's done it. How about that? Wow, didn't think that was going to do that. Right, okay. Now you hear a lot of people say that you don't sharpen the edges of the blades because they come with a dull edge, but two trains of thought to that. Yes, it still will cut, but when you have people with cylinder mowers, they ensure that their blades are razor sharp that can cut paper. So surely having this sharpened isn't going to be an issue. If they like the same grass, they're cutting the same grass but with a different type of mower, and that's what I'm going to do, just put an edge on that. Many ways to sharpen the blade. I'll just use one of these for the moment because it's what I've got available. Off we go. There we go, that'll do. It's not perfect, but it's an old blade and we can do that. So I'm just going to check the balance on it now. All these fancy balancing tools, but all I tend to do is stick a screwdriver in, and if it sits level, which it is doing, you know the blade's in balance. There you go. If it was weighing down that much, which means that end's heavier, I'll take a bit more off of that end, but that's pretty level, which means the blade's in balance. Put the blade back on the boss with the flutes facing upwards. And nip her up. And there you go. One blade, balanced and sharpened. You only need to sharpen the top end. You don't sharpen the bottom end. And that's the job done. Right, okay then. We've done all them little things to it, hopefully. This should run smooth now, I'm hoping. Just give it a prime. It's a cold engine, look, touching the exhaust there. Absolutely stone cold. Let's pull that up there. See what happens. Come on. There we go. How about that? Right, that seems to be doing the job, doesn't it? There we go. Happy days, running nice and even now, and it will benefit from a good blade sharpen, new air filter, new diaphragm and gasket. Even though it looks ropey, that will serve us easily another season. So there you go, folks. It's been a while doing a video because we've been very busy on our Butler's Empire channel, but hopefully get some more videos out for you in the near future and get some of these projects finished off, eh? Anyway, I'm going to go now. I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to have a look at our backlog of videos. We've got absolutely hundreds of videos on this channel of car repairs, motorcycle repairs, restorations, repair jobs, lawnmower videos, all that sort of stuff, all mechanically minded and something you might find interesting. Anyway, thanks very much. See you in the next video. And until then, bye for now.